Hello. Recently I've done quite a lot of work on N1502 and N1700 Philips video recorders, and a problem we keep getting is the really difficult size of drive belt that goes from the head drum motor to the head drum pulley. And I bought these drive belts on eBay, which are approximately the right size. They're 83mm diameter, 5mm width. It's about the right size, but the belt itself isn't really the quality we need. It's too thin and doesn't have enough bite to it. So, I mean, I've had other belts in the past. This was one that came off the machine, which is slightly wider actually, and a much better drive surface on it, but it's slightly too long, so it doesn't necessarily grip very well. So this is a problem that's been plaguing people who have tried to restore N1502, N1700 type Philips video recorders for some years now, trying to obtain that really difficult drive belt. Well, I've been sent something by GB Audio. They kindly sent me a belt to try, so let's have a go with this. So the part they've kindly sent me is their part number BELT9.1, which is 82mm diameter, 6mm width, and that should be perfect for fitting into the N1502 and N1700 machines. Okay, I'm afraid we lost a little bit of footage, but it's not important. All we lost was me installing that drive belt into the N1700 that I'd recently serviced. And the problem I'd had with that machine is I was getting a little bit of shimmer left to right in the middle of the image, which typically indicates that the drum speed is varying very slightly during its sweep. You wouldn't necessarily see it on this monitor, but I can see it. But that can be caused by poor drive belts, but it can be caused by other things, such as a sticky head touching the tape and slowing down, or by a bad drive motor. This machine is working, but we still have this shimmer, which I am now 100% sure is nothing to do with the drive belt and is probably due to the head drum itself. So this isn't really the ideal machine to demonstrate this drive belt with. One thing I did need to mention is that I found a problem when I was looking at this machine. This is the assembly which drives the spools. So that does the top spool, which is take up, and this does the bottom spool, which is supply, and is also responsible for back tension via this clutch underneath. And it can be troublesome actually. I'll just turn that off. It can be troublesome in that if the back tension is not set correctly, you can get a very poor picture because the tape is not held sufficiently tightly against the head drum. And a quick test for that can be if you can reach the guide at the back. So when it's laced up, a guide sits at the back there, and you can put your finger on the tape gently as it goes past the guide and very slightly increase the back tension. And if that clears disturbance, particularly at the bottom of the picture, then you probably have low back tension. You don't want to set it too high though, but that can be resolved in part by adjusting the back tension here, and what you can do is make up a shim or something for this to slightly increase, and you can decide where to put it, but slightly increase the pressure of the part of the clutch that stays static relative to the part of the mechanism that rotates. But a big failing of this format is that since back tension is only set by that rotation, the problem is that the tape rotates at a different speed on the supply spool depending whether you're at the beginning or the end of the tape, and so the amount of back tension the machine feels varies throughout the tape. And this is a failing of, for example, very many cheaper tape recorders. More sophisticated machines have a system for regulating the back tension, as do all more modern video recorders such as VHS and Beta. So it's always a bit of a compromise setting the back tension on this format. Taking this apart is a little fiddly. You do need a circlip plier to take a circlip off there. Now, when I had this apart, I found that this has got three spigots here which connect to the bottom of the tape, and one of them snapped clean off on this. so I had to replace this. But that didn't really get me very far in terms of solving the machine's problem, which is that shimmer in the picture. And I've cleaned all kinds of parts and I'm getting nowhere. So since it's not a good demonstration of how good these drive belts are, I'm going to instead install this drive belt, the head drum drive belt, in the N1502 that I had to work on recently, which was suffering from the drum taking too long to pick up to speed. So it's an ideal test for the belt. So this machine will be given its original eBay belt back, which, you know, it sort of works, but it's just not great quality. But good enough for testing it until I can sort the machine out. So I'm afraid we're going to be raiding the drive belt off this one. And taking a drive belt off this is terribly easy. Putting it back on is a hard bit. So this is our new drive belt, which we're now going to fit to the N1502. And I will temporarily put the eBay one on here. So you kind of have three things to worry about when you're doing this. That you've got the capstan belt on, the drum belt on, and that this micro switch is sat over the lever that goes through the deck that activates it. So there's a lot to try to do all at once, and they seem to be fighting each other sometimes. Okay, that's back with the eBay belt, and we've still got the shimmer, of course. But that machine is going to have some more attention to whatever that problem is. It's going to be either the head drum itself or the drum motor is causing that shimmer. Okay, so this is my N1502, which is in a known working condition. But the problem I noticed with it is that even with a new drive belt on the drum motor, oh look, the capstan taking time to settle as well. But when I switch it on, I was noticing it's taking a long time for the head drum to get to speed. So, as I've seen before, I like setting these on the back for doing this work. It just gives you such good access. It's maybe not the way the manufacturer intended it to be serviced, but it's nice because that panel swings out the way and stays out of the way. And you've got enough to contend with changing this drive belt. The power and logic board is very different on this one. There's a lot less ICs. So this one gets relieved of its horrible eBay belt, and we fit the nice quality one on. In terms of testing it, this isn't an ideal tape because it's black and white, but it's clearly working very well as a video recorder. There we go. So now this is loaded with that new drive belt and is working absolutely beautifully. I like that. Right, at long last, the world has a supplier for high quality drive belts for the head drum motor to head drum drive pulley for N1502, N1700, N1702 and similar machines. The other drive belts, which are just normal square cross-section belts, are relatively easy to source. But it was that flat belt that's been a problem for a long time for people who like to restore these machines. So please remember to like, share and especially subscribe, and I'll do a lot more content on audio and video technology in the near future. Bye for now.